What do you say to young men who come to you for advice, who feel lost, who don't really know where they fit into society?
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say the most beautiful and the most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without values. You're only going to be cared about based on how useful you are. You have the chance to build yourself up and become a superhero if you're prepared to do the hard work and be indefatigable enough to never quit. But if you're going to stand around and wait for a handout, nobody's going to ever respect you. And I think that a lot of people have forgotten about how difficult and how competitive it is as a man. We're always in constant competition with each other. And it's your duty as a man to stand up and say, I want to be as important and strong and good-hearted and God-fearing as possible, and I need to work hard to achieve those things.
Why do us men suffer and work at all? Why do we struggle and take all the risks we took to get rich? It's so we can let other people not work. There's a beautiful poem. It's an Arabic poem, and I don't know it word for word. Stress is mine, happiness is yours. Mm-hmm. Pain is mine, joy is yours. But you are mine. Mm-hmm. It's like, I suffer, and you get the good side of my suffering. You are mine. And that's the masculine essence in the first place. That's the reason. I mean, look at Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. Dad gets the worst presents. Exactly. He gives the presents.
He gets a tie.
That's right. That's what men are supposed to do. And that's why we work all year long.
Batman's Batman because they killed his parents. If they didn't kill his parents, he simply wouldn't be Batman. And I think a lot of men, when bad things happen to them or heartbreak, etc., they don't understand that all that pain that's been given to you in that scenario is extremely important and valuable. Probably the worst experience as a man is to go through life and everything go right all of the time. Actually imagine that. You're born, you wake up, everything's fine, your girl ain't gonna leave, and you don't have to go gym, and no one's gonna try and fight you, and your bills are always paid. That sounds depressing to me. Genuinely. All these bad things are supposed to happen to you so you can level up. You're supposed to go through the pain so you can get better. It's a universal law it's a constant of the universe. Even if you want to build bigger muscles, you have to destroy the old ones. That's how they grow bigger, right? You want to be more resilient. You want to be more observant. You want to be more capable of dealing with negative scenarios or heartbreak or bad things happening to you. Well, then you better get used to pain. Pain is the flavor of life. And the people who try and change the flavor are never going to be as competitive as the people who eat it up and go, okay, that's what it tastes like. Fine by me. Give me some more. And those are the ones who get very good at it. So if you're sitting here at home and you're sad, fantastic. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm genuinely a little bit jealous. Bad things are supposed to happen to you, but you have to use them as fuel. You can't sit there and let the bad things happen to you and feel sorry for yourself because nobody gives a shit. I don't give a shit. Your friends barely give a shit. The girl doesn't give a shit anymore. You got to take all that pain and turn it into something good. That's your responsibility as an adult because that's the only thing that allows you to have absolute sovereignty and control of the situation.
People assume anger is quite a sad, low-frequency emotion, whereas I think anger is an extremely energetic emotion. I was a fantastic kickboxer because I'm angry. Like the only thing that will get you out of bed and go to the gym at 6 in the morning when you're fucked and you don't want to and you literally got a broken ankle is just waking up and just being pissed off. Like it's always done me well. Yeah. Like I don't have a criminal record. I've never attacked anybody. I have self-control just because I don't externalize my problems. I don't believe I have an anger issue. I don't externalize it like the depressive idiots do. I understand who I am. Yeah. I've never lost my control in any situation where I shouldn't have. But I think anger is an extremely powerful source. I think it's an amazing pot of unlimited energy. And it's a great thing to have if you can attribute it in the right direction.
Is that there are winners and there are losers. That's the reality of the world. That's how it works. Everything you've ever wanted in your life, that woman you want, other men want. That car you want, other men want. That house you want, other men want. Mm-hmm. And the guy who has it won. The guy who didn't lost. And that's how it works. It's a power dynamic. It's constant and endless competition. That's how the masculine world is.
Exactly.
As a man, you wake up. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I don't buy the fastest Ferrari to drive any faster. I just want the fastest one in the showroom. Mm-hmm. The guy doesn't build a bigger yacht to have an extra 10 foot of deck. He doesn't care. He wants the biggest yacht in the marina.
Exactly.
That's how men are. And that's what built the entire modern world. I want to be the first one to march across Antarctica, even if I risk freezing to death, because my name will go down in history. Mm-hmm. That's what men were. And how can you have a man who is not interested in competition of any kind? Okay. Financial or at least success, any kind of success. If you have a man who's not a competitive man, you don't have a man at all.
Exactly.
Adult happiness for me is just a lack of absolute sorrow. Like, there's no such thing as cold. There's only a lack of heat. Scientifically, cold doesn't exist. Heat exists, and a lack of heat creates cold. Well, I think it's the same thing with happiness. There's no such thing as happiness. It's just a lack of sorrow. If I'm not grief-stricken, if I'm not sitting here and I'm really devastated, if my family members haven't died, if I'm not bawling my eyes out, if I'm not really struggling, then I'm a happy person.
I think men have a natural, innate masculine instinct to protect and to provide.
Yeah.
If you're a man who has this stuff in order, you naturally want to protect those you care about, and you naturally want to provide for them. You have no problem paying their bills and taking care of them. A good man has no problem paying the bills for his woman and paying the bills for his kids and making sure they're safe. That's what a man wants to do when he has his things in order. If you're the kind of man who doesn't feel that way innately, there's something wrong with you. And there's probably
50-50 is unacceptable, guys.
Yeah, and there's probably something wrong with you because you're not being the best version of yourself. And it's amazing how easily you'll do the things you're supposed to do when you're the man you're supposed to be. And if you focus on making sure you're as strong and rich and smart and hardworking and intelligent as possible, and if you're careful with the company you keep, both male and female, and you have friends, you're naturally going to do the right things. It's amazing what God has instilled inside of us.
And I don't think that we are put on the planet to be happy. I actually genuinely believe we are put on the planet to learn things and to struggle and to genuinely suffer. I think that life is suffering. And I'm not saying this in a negative way. I think that if you want to be any kind of man of caliber, your life needs to be full of suffering. If you don't have that story of pain, you don't have a story at all. It's just the way the world works. You're not going to be a credible man who is respected if you don't have a bunch of pain and problems in your past. If you wake up and you're born as a man and everything goes exactly to the way you want it to and everything's nice and easy, nobody's going to respect you. And you're not even going to be happy yourself. I believe that also the masculine imperative not only is to give, like we said earlier, but it is to overcome struggle. We look at struggles and we look at problems and we want to overcome them. You just said it yourself. I want more followers. I want to get bigger. It's a problem. I want to fix it. I got to beat it. It's inside of us. So I think that all these bad things that happen to us are actually a blessing. We should be glad for all of them. We should be proud for them.
He goes, Tate, can you please explain exactly how to get over a breakup?
First things first is that going through a breakup sucks. And every single man out here, no matter what they say, understands how bad it is to go through a breakup and understands what heartbreak's like. It's difficult. It's not easy. I'd actually like to argue that men feel more heartbroken than women. I think that's
facts.
I think it's true. And I think it's because one of the possessive element that we have, the idea of her being with someone else hurts more than the idea of you being with someone else to her. And secondly, because you have a lot less options than she has instantly. So I think that breakups are worse for men than they are for women. And I understand how difficult and hard they can be. However, unfortunately, the unfortunate reality is that chasing her and being dedicated to her and saying you're going to do whatever she wants, etc., is very unlikely to work. It's very unlikely to work, and you have to look at the scenario you're in, look at the chessboard, and make the best possible move. When you're heartbroken, when you're truly heartbroken, you can't even sleep, and your mind is constantly preoccupied. And instead of seeing that as a negative, what you need to do is use that as a source of unlimited power. If I was truly heartbroken today, let's imagine, and I could barely sleep, I'd be in better shape than I've ever been. I'd train like a fucking animal. You have to just take the energy inside of you. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted, whether it's heat into light or momentum into friction or however you want to put it, right? Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted from one form to another. And you have to look at that and understand that the sadness inside of you is energy. You can't destroy it, but you can convert it into something else which is constructive. And you just have to suck it up, buttercup, and get over it.